Hey everyone, Emma here. How you doing? Just wanted to make this video just to share some key takeaways from the Own Your Future Challenge, which I'm taking part on in with Tony Robbins, Dean Growowski, and 15 other inspirational, amazing, awesome people. And last night we just focused a lot on the mindset piece. And as with most things, it's the mindset that you've got to focus on them first in order for you to then take the right strategy, the right action, and to get the results that you want. And I just wanted to share some key takeaways with you, some key pointers, because I think everyone needs to hear these things sometimes. And certainly for me, one of the reasons that I took part in the challenge is because with any of these things, we always hear things differently depending on where we're at in our life, what's going on, etc. And I'm at a point where I really want to scale my business. And so I'm really kind of coming at it from a totally different angle to if I'd listened to it 6 months ago, right in the thick of the pandemic and lockdown. And so with speakers or with mindset work or anything like that, too often people think, oh, I've heard it all before, I know. But there's a massive difference in knowing and knowledge comes from doing. And often we know things, but we don't do it and we don't apply it to ourselves. And we don't necessarily hear it in the right way that will then resonate with us. So I just wanted to share this with you as a reminder in the hopes that you hear it in a way that is really, really going to help you. And the first point is a massive, massive one because it's about failure. And all too often I see people, me, myself, hold back from showing up, from taking action because of fear of failure or fear of rejection, fear of, not being good enough. And when Tony spoke about this last night, it was like, whoa. To me, this was a really beautiful reframe because I don't believe that failure exists, even though sometimes it holds me back. The truth of the matter is when it comes to failure, there's only or action, there's only ever two outcomes. One, you get the outcome that you want, or two, you don't get the outcome that you want, but you get feedback. But all too often we see that as a failure, that we're not good enough, that we haven't done what we wanted to achieve, and therefore we can't carry on. But the truth of the matter is failure is not a setback, it's just the next starting point. And I love that because when we get the feedback of what works and what doesn't, that then gives us information to start again. So when you see it as, well, these mistakes, these outcomes that we didn't perhaps want, is just a new starting point. It's the next starting point of my journey. It becomes far nicer. And so I really, really love that. And I wanted to share that with you because I just think all too often we hold back on that fear of failure. So that was my point number one. Number two, who we really are is what we do when no one is watching. Who we really are is what we do when no one is watching. And quite often, we compare ourselves to people on social media. We see like 1% of their life and it's the part that they want to show us. But it's what people do behind the scenes. And again, with any of these things, it's really easy to be on it for show, to prove to people that you're doing the things that you need to do. But it's what you then do behind the scenes that makes a difference. So like if you're wanting to lose weight, you might eat a salad in front of other people if you go out for lunch, but then you might then come home and gorge on pizza. If you're really wanting to work on your mindset, you might be outwardly positive to other people when you're in a meeting or when you're talking to people, but then you get home and you're putting yourself down, you're berating yourself, you're speaking negatively, you're focusing on all the things that haven't worked out for you. It's what you do when the camera's not on you. It's what you do when people aren't watching that makes the big difference. Because if you want to create change, if you want to create the life that you want to live, the one that you dream of, then it's what you do 24/7 that counts. Like mindset work is not a tick box exercise. It's not something that you do once and then you move on. It's a continuous process. It's called a daily practice for a reason. It's what you do in the challenging times. It's what you do when you're feeling funky or out of alignment that makes the difference. It's what you do behind the scenes with your self-care, with your nutrition, with the food that you're eating, with all of that sort of stuff. It's that makes a difference. So just be mindful, just be aware. What you're doing when no one's watching. If you're working towards a goal, is all your actions in alignment with you achieving that goal? So that was another biggie. the biggest belief that we all have, and one of the challenges for us was to share our limiting beliefs, and probably 90% of us had very similar beliefs, and that is of not being good enough or not being enough in some capacity, not knowing enough, not being smart enough, not being pretty enough, just not being good enough. And this is the biggest thing that I think we all feel. And what we need to remind ourselves is that we are 100% enough, and that the beliefs that we're carrying around with us, the inner conflict that we're carrying around with us, is the work that needs to be fixed first. And this links in with the comment that I've written above, which is you have to fix the inner conflict first. When we have beliefs of not being enough or not good enough, or who do we think we are to be sharing this information, like that people think we're showing off, or up our own arses, or whatever it may be, that is going to cause us to procrastinate and hold back. And it's in the action that we get the results. If we're not taking action, we're not going to get results. We're not going to move forward. But it's often our inner conflict that holds us back from taking the action or taking the right action. Sometimes we can be caught up in busyness, justifying to ourselves that we're busy and we're taking action, but it's not action that's going to move the needle in our life and our business. So you have to sort the inner conflict out first. You have to work on that belief. You have to understand where that not good enough is coming from, really start to understand it and to release it and eliminate it at its core level. That is super, super important. All too often people work on the tangible, the stuff we're educated to do, the doing aspect. But the reality is, unless you sort the inner conflict out first, you can do all you want, but you're not going to get the results that you're after and that you deserve. So that's another, I was going to say, that's point 3, merging 2 in with that. My other one, which I'm super, super, super passionate about, and anyone that follows me knows that I am, because for me it's really important to show people the whole you. And all too often we feel that we can't show the whole you, whole you, because we don't want to be seen as weak or show our vulnerability. But actually it's the middle part that is super, super inspiring to people. It helps them feel less alone. It helps them to recognize the process, what really needs to be done. We're all too caught up in the before and the afters, and we can see how people are and we can relate to how they were before, but we don't necessarily understand fully how they got to the after part, how they got to where they are now. And it's the middle part that gives you the clues, and it allows you to have the insights into what you did and therefore what you can help others to do, a level of understanding that's often missed, to help and encourage them to take the action and to apply it to themselves. And for me, it's so important to be transparent, to be authentic, and to not just say, I woke up and all of a sudden my business was global and amazing. It's like, do you know what? It took years of resilience, moments of absolute panic, questioning my abilities, this, that, and the other. People need to see that. People need to understand that, to know that they are human and you are human, and it's all right to feel the emotions that we all feel when we're feeling vulnerable or challenged or tested. And so it's really, really important to embrace that whole part. It's, it is our flaws, it's our mistakes, it's our uniqueness that makes us really powerful and allows us to inspire others. And all too often we hide the messy parts of us. But as Dean said last night, our mess is our message. And if we can show people how we've moved from the mess to where we are now, that comes with a really, really powerful message that's going to help and encourage and inspire other people to do that. So I just wanted to share these with you. There's probably 20 other points that I could have made, and I could have been sat on this video for about an hour and still not got through it all. But for me, those were the really 4 key main points that came through. And I felt obliged and called to share them with you, because the truth of the matter is, our mindset is the biggest thing that holds us back. When we understand it, when we nurture it, when we love it, when we work with it, we have the capacity to achieve anything that we want to. It's just about knowing what to do, taking the action, building the knowledge, and getting the results that you want. And it comes with repetition, and pushing through the fear. Every single person is fearful. The difference in the people that you see in the global arena that are doing the things that you want to do is that they took action, and they consistently continue to take action despite of their fears. And if we can all start to learn to manage our fears and recognize what that looks like and how we can work with it, then we can all achieve so much more. So I just wanted to share that. So have a fab day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.